Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today I want to talk about a subject that confuses a lot of my students, and they ask a lot of questions, especially on my YouTube channel. And they'll ask like, hey Mike, who can I wholesale these deals to? You know, I put it under contract, who can I wholesale it to? So I want to explain right now, and so you're not confused. There's basically two types of customers you can wholesale your property to, guys, okay? Two types of customers. So when you go out there and you market and you put the deal on the contract from a motivated seller or even a bank, REO, it doesn't matter. There's two people you're looking for. Well, it's not gonna work with REOs, just for motivated sellers. There's two types of people you're looking for. Number one type of person you're looking for is what I call your cash in buyer, okay? Or your investor in buyer, okay? I don't even want to put cash, I like to just say investor in buyer, okay? And what an investor in buyer is that somebody that's gonna buy the property and they're gonna turn around and use it for themselves, okay? They may use it for themselves as in a fix and flip. They may use it for themselves as, you know, a rental property. They may use it as for themselves to create new notes and do owner financing, okay? So whenever you buy the deal, whenever you put the deal on a contract from a motivated seller and you turn around and sell it to an in-cash buyer, investor, he's gonna have these three options, which is basically the three options is to fix and flip, rent it, or do owner financing, okay? Now, your other in buyer could be what I call a retail buyer. Now, a retail buyer is somebody that's gonna come and live in the home. This is their dream home. They may have family, kids, dogs. So, unlike an investor, a retail buyer, the property cannot be all crappy. The property cannot need a lot of work. Some areas, yeah, like if you deal with certain areas where the people know how to work on the properties themselves, maybe they're willing to buy some crappy home. But on the norm, when you retail a property, they want it to look really, really nice or pretty good, you know. Sorry guys, a phone came in, okay? So coming back to the story, there's two types of buyers that you could wholesale your deals to. One is an investor, one is a retail buyer, okay? Sorry guys, somebody keeps calling my phone. The investor, he's gonna be more lenient. He's not gonna care what the property looks like. He's able to close fast, and that's who I like to have my students wholesale to, because it's a very quick transaction. They're able to make their minds up very quick. They don't have to ask their cousins, they don't have to ask their mamas, they don't have to ask their bank, and that's the people I like to talk to that can make a decision very quick, okay? Now, the withdrawal or the negative side of dealing with the investor and buyer is that you're not gonna make a lot of money. You may make 2 grand, you may make 5 grand, you may make 10, 15 grand, just depends on the deal. But that end investor is gonna make the most amount of money, okay? Not you, because you're just wholesaling it. Okay, now whenever you wholesale it to an end investor, you're just assigning the deal. The deed doesn't usually come into your name. It can, but not always, okay? You're just assigning the contract. Now, if you're talking with a retail end buyer, the benefits of dealing with those people is that you can make more money. For example, if the three options that when that investor buys, he's gonna rent it, he's gonna fix and flip it, or he's gonna do owner financing. So with this retail buyer, you can do owner financing yourself instead of letting that investor and buyer do it. And the benefit is you get a lot more money. So in the other equation, if you would have got 3, in this equation you might get 10, you might get 15, okay? But on the flip side of it is that this retail buyer, you know, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time. You're gonna have to show it to a lot of different retail buyers, and they want the fence to look a certain way, and you have to deal with all that bullshit and politics that comes with doing with retail. But on the other hand, the money is bigger, so you're making more money, okay? But you have to do a lot of showings, and you know, so it's more work, is what I'm trying to say. But on the flip side, you're gonna make more money. Now, whatever you do with the investor, you could assign it and they're gonna go closing, unless you're doing a double closing, which is usually we don't. okay? But because we deal with motivated sellers. And on the retail side, you can assign it, or you create what's called a wrap, a new note. And what happens is that if you decide to create a new a new wrap, then you have basically 3 profit zones, okay? Because what happens is that you're able to get a big chunk of money up front as a down payment, you're able to get a monthly cash flow, and then you're able to get the back end profit. And the reason this all happens is because, let's say the house loan was 100, when you sell it, you're gonna sell it for more money, okay? Because you're doing owner financing, okay? And whatever the interest rate was, let's say the interest rate was 3%. Now, when you do the wrap, you're gonna maybe add 5-6%. So you're gonna charge more, and that's why the monthly cash flow spread comes. And the back end profit is because, let's say you bought the property subject to as 100, and you sold it to the end retail buyer as 120. So you have $20,000 as back profit. If that makes any sense. Of course, you have to minus the down payment they've given you, okay? But that's assuming that you got the down payment and there was $20,000 at the back end, so they would get the 20, okay? So I know it's a little confusing, guys. I mean, it's pretty complex ideas, but simply put, if you're dealing with a retail buyer, there's 2 ways to sell the property. You could just assign it and get the money for the down payment, and that retail buyer just buys the property as what we call as a mirror, because that retail buyer will take over the seller's existing loan exactly the way it was. You know, the interest rate is exactly the same, the monthly payments are exactly the same, and your assignment fee, let's say if the loan was 100 and you want 3, then that end retail buyer has to give you 103. You put the 3 in your pocket as an assignment fee. Then that retail buyer will take this loan for the 100, if that makes any sense, okay? So that's option 1, which what we call a mirror, where you're not really creating a new note and becoming in the middle of it. The other option is to get in the middle of it and create a new note with the retail buyer, and like I said, increase the asking price, increase the interest, which now allows you to create a monthly cash flow plus the back end profit plus the down payment, okay? But now you have more liability, where if you just do option 1, where you're just, you know, doing a mirror, you're just getting the down payment, the deed doesn't come into your name, it goes straight into the seller's, not seller, the retail buyer's name, okay? A lot of complex information, but coming back to the story, there's 2 types of retail buyers. You have your investors and you have your retail buyers. So again, there's 2 types of customers you can sell your wholesaling deals to. You can sell it to an investor, or you can sell it to an retail buyer, okay? The investor, the pros are that he's willing to close fast, he knows what the fuck he's doing. The cons are you're gonna make less money, okay? Because he's gonna make the money. Now, but it's so much easier. You just put it under contract, you sell it, adios amigos, you go to the next deal. Where this guy still has to do, if he's doing the fix and flips, he has to put the money in, fix it. If he's doing the rental, he has to, you know, prep it up, put it on the market, pay the realtor, pay all the holding fees, get a renter there. So there's a lot of work involved with it. The guy that's doing the owner financing, he has to pay for another closing, he has to go market to find a buyer, he has to create the note. So see, there's a lot of involved in it. That's why he's gonna make the maximum money and you're not gonna make it, because you're just assigning it, okay? Now, with the investor, you don't create a new note. You don't do a wrap, okay? I mean, maybe you can, but the investors I deal with will laugh at me if I say, hey, I want to create a new wrap, I want to make more money, okay? They'll be like, fuck you, dude, here's your assignment fee, okay? Or that's what I would tell people if they hit me up like that, okay? So I'm an investor, I'm not going to pay you no interest. I want to exactly do whatever the underlying mortgage was. That's all I'm going to do, dude, okay? So when you sell to an investor, you're not going to be able to do the wrap, you're going to be able to do the assignment. If you sell to a retail buyer, you're able to do the wrap, create a new note, and increase the interest rate, get a little bit more money because you're doing owner financing, which makes it more luxurious for a lot of buyers that can't qualify, so you get a little bit more money that way. So you have 3 profit zones: down payment, the monthly cash flow, and the back end profit, okay? So if you're dealing with the retail buyers, again, there's two ways to do it. You can do an assignment like you did with the investor, or you can do the wrap as you increase whatever the underlying mortgage was, all of it, the principal balance, the interest rate, which allows the monthly payments to increase. So there's two ways to close with the retail buyer. With an investor, there's only one way to close, okay? So to summarize it up, there's two types of customers for your wholesale deals. So there's two types of customers for your wholesale deals. You have number one, your investor buyers, and number two, your retail buyers, okay? And these are what I call your end buyers, okay? So you have two types of end buyers, your investor and your retail. Your retail are the people that are gonna live in the property. Your investors are gonna be people that, gonna do their things once you sell it to them. And their thing could be three things, and that's renting it out, fixing, flipping, do some kind of owner financing or anything like that, okay? I thought it was a pretty simple idea, but it became pretty complex because I went more into depth, okay? But don't let it confuse you guys. Just take action. If you don't know what the fuck I'm saying, don't worry about it, because as you can see, dude, I know what the fuck to do, and it's confusing to explain it to people, so it's totally okay, dude, if you don't understand it. I know what the fuck I'm doing, I'm freestyling it, but it's a complex idea. That's why, like, majority of attorneys don't understand it either. You have to get the cream of the cream. Same thing with realtors. Most people don't understand the difference between an assignment and a wrap and a subject to, and so it's okay if you don't know it. Just know those ideas exist, okay? And just take fucking action. Go out there and market. Find a motivated seller. Once you get to this step, then try to figure it out. And one of the problems I see from many people that hit me up is, Mike, like they're starting out, they're like, hey Mike, I don't know how to fill out the contract. Hey Mike, I don't know where to get this addendum. And I'm like, hey, what stage are you on? They're like, oh, I haven't even started. Yo, dude, you're like at first grade and you're worried about what the exam is in 10th grade. Don't worry about that, dude. Focus on this. And the first thing you have to do, the very first thing you have to do is fucking go out there and advertise, which means cold call, send letters, whatever the fuck you want. If you don't know what to do, get on my YouTube channel. I have 42 ways for free or almost for free how to find motivated sellers. So that's the very first thing you should do. The very first thing is lead production, guys. If you don't get people call you, there's no reason to make logos, there's no reason to make websites, there's no reason to set up corporation, there's no reason to do the research, how to fucking, what paperwork you need and what closing. You don't need any of that right now, dude. That's just too much information. Too much information causes confusion. Confusion causes fear, and fear inhibits you from fucking taking action. So the very best thing to do is just jump into it, dude. Don't worry about it. Just get in there, dude. And that's why, I'm scared to talk. I don't in Facebook Live, and all these people there, it just makes it even more crazier. But dude, that's why I just freestyle. Just turn it on, boom. And I'm ready to go, because the more I think about it, the more fear I have, and then it inhibits me, dude. And so that's what I'm trying to tell you. The first thing you have to do is market. When the fucking people start calling in, now the next thing you have to find out is how should I learn how to talk to them. That's it, dude. That's the only other thing you have to do now. Once you start learning how to talk to them and building rapport and gathering information, the third thing is, how do I analyze this information? How do I structure these deals, okay? And then you go to the fourth step and the next step, okay? If you're at level 1 and you're thinking about how to do move number 10, dude, you're never gonna get there, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta learn number 1, number 2, number 3. Don't worry about what's gonna happen at all these steps ahead. Just focus on the now, dude. And the only thing you need for right now is lead production, dude. That's it, end the story, guys. And lead production, you can spend money, you can do it for free, guys. And don't listen to the naysayers that tell you can't do some shit. If it's like the media, if it's your cousins, if it's some realtor you just met, or because I'm doing subject to. I'm about to do a closing right now at 4 o'clock, God willing, where I don't have the information in front of me, but I spent like a couple of grand, dude, maybe less than 3 to 5 grand. I mean, it was done like 6-7 years ago, and I'm about to pocket like $47,000, $48,000, and that's just from the equity. That doesn't even include the monthly cash flow that I've been getting for the past God knows how long I own this property. And so and roughly on average, I've been getting $400 to $500 a month on this fucking property. So if you could just do that 500 times, let's say 12 months, and then do that, let's say like 6 years, and you add that up plus the end equity that I'm getting, dude, and I bought the property subject to, maybe again, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, I'm gonna do a video, maybe 3 to 5 grand, okay? Max, okay, to buy the fucking property. And I didn't buy a title search for it, a title policy for it. You know, I did a law office closing, cost me about, I think, you know, $1,500. You know, I didn't pay title policy, and it's closing today, dude. And it was bought as subject to. I've been renting it out forever. You know, and it's in Grand Prairie, Texas, 75052, and inshallah, if everything works out, I'm gonna close on it today, and you know, make a significant amount of money where I just spend like 3 or 5 grand. You know, I know there's investors out there that go to the auction and they buy property and they'll make, you know, anywhere from like 12 to 15, maybe 18% returns. I know investors out there that, you know, do deals and they make like 50% returns, which is amazing. And shout out to the first investors that do that 15 to 18%, because I think my hat off to you, because that is a badass return, dude. You can't get that with any banks or anything else out there. The guys that make that 50% return, holler at you, man. You guys are killing it. But a refugee like me, I come here with 3 or 5 grand, I turn that into almost 100K. I'll get all the facts for you, but with the facts right now, I'm gonna get like at least like 47, 48,000, a little bit more just today at right around 4 o'clock. So if you just do the 3 or 5 into that, you can see what the percent ratio is, okay, which is way more than 50%. And if you add the monthly cash flow that I made in there, if you add all the late fee payments that I collected on that rental property, if you add in there, and if you add in like the security deposits and things that I got to keep because, you know, people broke their leases or things of that nature, or all the fees I was able to charge because I took them to eviction, you know. So if you add all that in there, I'm not gonna even include any of that. I'm just talking about right now the HUD-1 cash paid to seller, which is right for like 47,000. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm freestyling it, but I'll show you everything later on today when I go to the title company if everything works out. Hopefully it will, but it just shows you, dude, 3 grand into this money, just through imagination, through hard work. You know, I don't think any person can do that when you buy HUDs. I don't think anybody can do that when you buy REO. I don't think anybody can do that when you go to the auction. I just don't. I know a lot of people, I just don't see those kind of returns. So my thing is, man, deal with the 20%. You're better off dealing with the 20% customers. I mean, for me, I'd rather deal with 20% customers. I'd rather deal with the 20% investments that gives me 80% of my business, instead of just dealing with everybody. When I first came out of college, I was so fucking hungry. I would just do everything and take everything. Now, I don't want to take all the businesses. I don't want to buy all the fucking deals. You know, I just want to buy a certain thing that I want, cream of the crop, that I'm gonna make. Like, I'm gonna put at least 10 grand or less, 3 grand, 5 grand, and in a certain amount of time period, 6 years, 7 years, I'm gonna make at least 100K. Now, in this specific deal, I'm gonna make some audio. I've lost 40 grand, and you know, I'll explain to you why I should have made at least 100K, but I lost 40 grand. I'll explain that shit to you later on so you don't make the mistake. But either way, good learning lesson. But it was a great lesson because, you know, I've gone to college and I paid money and got in debt and didn't have a job. In this lesson, I invested a little money. I got paid, you know, over 100% return on it. You know, if not so much, I haven't done the numbers. I don't want to say a number, but it's going to be a lot. Okay, more than 50% return on my money. I got a free lesson. Okay, and this is what I call a hella great opportunity in America, dude. Because, you know, anytime you could do something and learn from your failures is a hell of a good day. Anytime you could fail and not lose money and learn something is an amazing day. Anytime you fail and you make fucking money and you fucking learn, dude, that shit is like badass, man. That's out of this world type of shit, okay? So I'll take failure and learning any day, guys. So what am I trying to say to you? Go out there and hustle and bustle. Don't take no for an answer, guys. Don't listen to all these motherfuckers that tell you can't do some shit. You need money, you need this, you need this. All you really need is your fucking cell phone, a laptop, and internet. That's it, gang. You don't need anything else, dude. Again, you need a cell phone, laptop, internet. That's it. If you had those three things, you could conquer your soul's purpose on life here, man. In today's world, in today's technology, with the internet, the way everything's set up, from free education, access to county clerks, all kinds of shit you want, you're able to do it all online, guys. So there's no reason to have a job, there's no reason to work for the man, and there's no reason to go to work unhappy every day if you're not giving it all you fucking got. You better work for fucking free, because free gives you freedom, dude. I'm out. See ya.